greatest show on earth.
Welcome back to the Con Culture Convo, guys. Today we are at a movie theater to see a movie.
Which one?
That's right,
Well,
live review. We're going to go see Captain America 14. I'm very excited. The 14th installment of this series is going to be the one.
Red Captain America, I think it is this time. Is that what it is?
That's right. Red
Pink,
Captain America.
Green, something. I don't know. We're obviously we're very excited. And look at the crowd, guys. Let's pan over. Look at.
By the way, we're the only people in the theater. No, and when I say theater, I don't mean the actual theater. I mean the building.
We pulled up and we thought it was closed, but it's not. But it's also snowing in Simpsonville.
Yeah, that's right.
Greenville, South
Either
Carolina.
way, we're going to review Captain America for you, bud. We'll get back to you after the movie. The Con Culture Convo is supported by Toy Temple. Toy Temple is one of the largest Funko and exclusive pop culture distributors in the United States. They specialize in providing an experience for fans through events, experiences, and an easy-to-navigate website full of unique collectibles at incredible prices. They have 9 retail stores in Arizona, booths at San Diego and New York Comic-Con, and a fast-growing website with 24/7 customer service. So head on over to thetoytemple.com, and we have a special for our Convo listeners. Use promo code CONTALK15 to take 15% off your next order. That's thetoytemple.com. And thanks to Toy Temple for supporting the Convo.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
And we're back from the movie. So, overall, we did sit through the whole movie. Yeah. Winning review, we can start with that. We sat through the whole movie. We didn't leave. I don't know. You want to start with your impressions of Captain America New World Order?
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. Okay, I know it's Captain America, but...
Well, I said Captain America 14. Oh, no, it's Brave New World. It's not New World Order. Jesus. Oh, no.
First impression...
Brave New World.
For me,
Yeah.
I thought the acting was fucking terrible.
Really?
Yeah, it felt... Not that the actors are bad. They're not.
No.
I mean, obviously, Harrison Ford's a legend.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Mackie is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
I liked the role. But, like, there's a lot of really weird actors in that movie that I didn't really vibe with.
All right.
Like the homegirl, what was her name? The little assassin.
Okay, yeah.
She's
So,
like 3'4" by the
seriously, and I'm not knocking short people, and she's not a little person either. She's like a normal person that is just incredibly tiny, but she was like a badass in it.
But like Anthony Mackie in real life is 5 foot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
5'9". He's my
Dude, when she's standing
And
next
she's
to
like-
anyone, and you know that they actually, when they're filming it, they put them on apple boxes to get them closer to the same height,
and it's
which
so
means she was
bad.
even closer to like 4 foot nothing or 3 foot something.
She might be I think she's probably in the mid 4s.
She's incredibly tiny.
Yeah.
And
Cute though.
I
found her kind of cute.
I will say she's clearly has a foreign accent, but was doing an American accent. It was off. Like you could tell it wasn't a real or a natural American accent, I should say. So my guess is she's from Europe or Russia.
I mean, she's gotta be. She's Russian.
Is she Russian?
Well, wasn't the whole thing that she's part of Romanov stuff, right? Like,
Oh, they did mention she was part of the
Like
the Romanov
she's-
or the Scarlet Spider, not that one.
the Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, the Scarlett Johansson. That's right. So I guess she would be. That would
Yeah, I
imply.
think
Well,
she
yeah, but is Scarlett Johansson's character in there? Is she?
I don't know. I just think they're from the same guild. They're.
What was that Black Canary? Right? Isn't that her character name? Or is that from Green Lantern?
Are we
Or Green
Are
Arrow?
we missing a fucking character that's obvious that we don't know? These guys are gonna message us right now in those comments.
Please do.
How do you not know that was blah blah blah?
Listen, hey, it took me a minute. First of all, I didn't think I was going to have to do any homework to get into this movie.
Gosh,
But I had no idea. I never saw Eternals, and there's a big piece of this movie that's
Big
from
time.
the Eternals.
Yeah.
So
He's like, is that Black Panther channel? I was like, no.
yeah, because I was like, okay, is that the Submariner? He came out of the water with something. They were like exposing Atlantis or whatever. And I don't
Oh.
remember.
That was a good movie, though.
Or was it Aquaman's plot? Look, I can't keep these straight.
They're the same character, so it's
They basically are. So, okay, so this show, yeah. So that makes sense. The reason I was hesitant to say that she was Russian was because she is the president of the United States security advisor. Not that they can't hire someone from Russia. It just seems like a weird position to put.
I mean,
a Russian in.
The current administration has a bunch of Russians working.
Well, there you go. Okay.
So, you know.
But we digress. So, okay, fine. So she's probably has a Russian background. And she very much a badass. I mean, she definitely takes out a lot of dudes. I don't know. It was, what do I have to say about it? Okay. I didn't think the acting was bad.
Yeah, so she's a former, according to our lovely friend thing, Google. Shira Haas portrays a reimagined version of Black Sapphire, a former Black Widow assassin.
Black Widow, there we go.
So her name is Saba.
Not Black Canary. Ignore me.
We were kind of close, but she's so tiny.
Different universe. She was so tiny. Like, ridiculously tiny. As a human. Either way.
She's Israeli.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, I knew she probably had an accent, but she was doing an American accent in this. That's interesting. I did not think the acting was bad. I'm going to say this. I think the writing was not the best. And I don't mean plot-wise. I mean dialogue. Some of the dialogue was kind of cringy. Or we're just getting desensitized to all of these superhero movies and the way they talk. And everything was supposed to be meant like real patriotic.
Okay, can we stop? This is bullshit. I just looked up right. She's 5'2". There is no chance that woman is 5'2".
I don't see that.
Mackie's not only that's that much taller.
Like she looked like a hobbit.
Yeah, legit.
Like they were, a
Aragorn
hobbit's
was
a regular
standing
person, but they would like do force perspective. Like she looked like a hobbit.
Were they trying to make her smaller? Are we missing something with this? We might be. I don't know. We'll find out on Captain America 45. Like Jesus.
Also, I will say this: they brought in the plot. A major plot point to this was the events that had happened in the Edward Norton Hulk movie, which I think is just called Hulk or the Incredible Hulk. The Hulk, maybe.
Yeah.
But they've had so many movies with Mark Ruffalo that you kind of push the Edward Norton one. In fact, they had so many problems after the Edward Norton.
It's almost
one.
like it's removed from MCU.
You know what it is? It's almost like they based a major plot line on one of the first Fantastic Four movies that we're never going to acknowledge exist.
Well, Chris Evans converted
exactly.
from a character in Fantastic Four to Captain America.
But you know what
That's
I mean?
Part of the universe.
Like it was weird that they were referencing something that's not really what we would consider the Avengers canon leading up to Endgame. I don't know. Ruffalo is like Hulk in that canon where everything leading up to Endgame was all Ruffalo Hulk. I don't know. I just thought it was weird because the reason I say that they used a big plot line, Liv Tyler is back to play Betty Ross, or Betsy Ross.
How much do you think she got paid to do fucking 32 seconds in that movie?
Seriously.
Well,
spoiler alert, her voice is in a lot of it, but she's only one scene.
She shows up and do you think it was actually her?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
it felt like that could have been an AI.
No, because it's cheaper to bring an actor in for one line than it is to actually digitally recreate her. Then also the villain, which would be Samuel Stearns, Dr. Samuel Stearns from the Edward Norton one. If you remember at the end of that movie, he gets exposed to that gamma radiation from the Abomination's blood, or Bruce Banner's blood, I forget which, and then his brain gets all bubbly on the outside of his skin.
Yeah.
He's the main villain in this.
Yeah.
Again, spoiler.
No,
we should put this up. This is going to have spoilers in this.
Guys, this is the week of. We just saw it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this.
Yeah.
Stop now. We're going to have spoilers.
No, we've already spoiled it for you. So
we spoiled
you can stop.
It's an okay movie, so you're not going to be that ruined.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was a bad movie. It didn't have the same.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. There's nothing about this movie that makes you go like. There's no.
Well, hold on. Let's tell the plot. The plot of this is General Ross decides to run for president and becomes president. Just into 5 months into his presidency, he's trying to put together a huge peace accords and with all these countries in the world. And all of a sudden things start going wrong. Well, it turns out it's a terrorist attack run by this Dr. Samuel Stearns, who's trying to not only embarrass but expose Ross for some of his past wrongdoings. That is the whole plot. That's really the gauntlet of everything that happens in it.
That was it.
The trailer already told us that Harrison Ford is Red Hulk,
I
so
think
we
he
already
got
know
away
that.
way too easy.
I feel like they focus grouped that and they felt like they had to, but I really feel like that's something that they should have not done in the trailer.
I agree.
I really don't think they need
Because
it.
you almost want to root for Harrison Ford because everybody likes Harrison
You
Ford.
totally do.
Just as a person, you want him to win everything he does.
Yeah, because you're not really looking at him as a bad guy in this.
No.
But then it turns out he sort of is.
He's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
anti-hero-ish.
Very much an anti-hero.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of confusion about plot lines in this. Not that the information's not there in certain ways, but you really do have to be up on your Marvel movie lore
Yes.
going into this. There's some really key components that I was not prepared for. Once I figured out what they were,
because there's too many.
well, if Eternals was good, I would have watched it.
Okay.
I don't want to sit through a bad one.
Spoiler alert, I like Eternals more than this movie. So I think you need to go.
I can't say because I've never watched Eternals.
Yeah.
It got such bad press. Apparently,
I mean,
well, okay, and that's the thing that they must have called this in Eternals, but this key plot point from Eternals is this thing that rose out of the ocean that is what introduced the world to animation.
yeah, and I mean the island.
Which means we're setting up the X-Men's premiere here in, I guess, the Marvel Universe. I don't think they're going to do that until after the next two Avengers movies because we're going to be dealing with. Well, okay, I guess that gets us. Hold on, that ties into the last after credit scene. So let's condense everything about the movie before we get to the after credit scene.
Okay, part 1, boring, really boring. Part 2, less boring. Part 3, kind of boring. Part 4, good. Part 5, meh. That's literally the whole story of the premise. Like, the beginning of the movie is painful. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a lot of stuff.
You were looking like you were going to fall asleep like 30
Oh
minutes
no,
in.
but that wasn't really
my
at the
God.
beginning. That was like 45 minutes in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, towards like...
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this movie is only 90 minutes long.
Yeah, it's short.
Yet it felt like one of the longest Marvel movies I've ever sat through. I will say that. I'm not going to say the movie was bad. It wasn't bad. It just... the action was...
Shit.
It was formulaic.
Okay.
It's nothing we haven't seen before.
We're going to skip ahead to the final big fight scene. It was one of the most pathetic fucking big fight scenes ever. There was like 2 or 3 moments where like, okay, cool. And then the ending, they're like, oh, let me talk you down. Oh, and then it's done. That's literally it. Nobody dies. Nope. There's nothing like, literally nobody dies in that whole fucking movie. Who dies?
There's a whole bunch of... Sidewinder killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, but they're just regular peasant people. They're not characters.
They're peasants.
Name me one character that died in that movie. Or, nobody.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
the new Falcon got hurt, but he bounces back.
I think he was the only highlight of the movie. Man.
He was very good. He was an enjoyable person, lots of energy. As you guys know, Chris Evans has handed the shield off to Sam, and he is now the Captain America. So obviously, we need a new Falcon, and he's got
Yeah, but
a young gentleman named Domingo. I think his name was. It's not Domingo.
that's
Something like
that's
it.
Sunday
Hold on.
in Spanish.
Hold on, Domingo was it? No, Joaquin. His name was Joaquin Torres.
You know, Domingo close. Yeah.
Domingo is very close to Joaquin. Anyway, he's now the new Falcon. Fun guy.
So I'm gonna say something. I feel like everybody that watches this movie is gonna think. Okay. Anthony Mackie cannot carry a movie. Now
He doesn't have a lot of
He
leading
doesn't
man
have
presence.
that. Like he's an excellent Falcon. He is the second. He's the guy that's second in charge. That is a complimentary character that has badass moments, great scenes, but the dialogue is boring as fuck.
Also, they made it a key plot point, the fact that he didn't take the super serum. And
I'm like, is he going to now?
I don't understand why he wouldn't have taken the super serum. Like, he's fighting very well, but he's getting just, like, even at the end where Red Hulk's getting up again, he's like, please don't get, like, he can't take another hit because he's not powerful.
He's not a superhero.
No, he's like Batman
Like,
with gadgets.
but he doesn't have as cool gadgets as Batman.
But Batman's got way cooler gadgets.
Well,
Even though his gadgets Falcon's gadgets are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Or Captain America's gadgets. But yeah, you don't. His presence.
It's not Captain America. They
His-
can't even say it.
As Harrison Ford says, he's no Steve Rogers.
Which is badass. Go get an indie. You know what I mean?
You show him.
You
I don't know.
show
I
him.
wish. Yeah, I wish he had a bit more of a let's get gung ho behind this guy kind of presence. But
He's boring.
yeah,
He is. I like him as an actor, but like that's.
I will
not
say
his
there
role.
was a lot of slow parts in this
Oh
movie.
my god! You could have cut. What's sad is it was 91 minutes long, and you could have cut 30 minutes of it.
I'm going to agree with that
Honestly.
because but however, it felt so long.
It felt so. Now I'm going to say the most perfect thing for this. This was actually one of the movies that should have been on Disney Plus and not on in the theater.
Which is funny. The whole plot is basically set up on Disney Plus in the Falcon and Winter Soldier
Falcon Winter Soldier
TV
was
show.
so good.
It was a good
That was
show.
one of my favorite TV
That was a
series.
good show.
It does not translate at all. In this
No, it really doesn't because it doesn't have any of the fun in it.
There's none of it. And Bucky, just FYI, Bucky does show up for like a minute in a nice suit and looks really handsome.
And he's running for
that's all he does.
Congress. When did this happen? Is that a thing in the comics? I never knew
I
that.
mean, like anybody can run.
And now, clearly, and they only stayed on it for a second, so clearly it's setting up for some plot line, I guess, from Thunderbolts, I would guess.
Yeah.
Or from the later Avenger movies. I don't know.
I think that's one of those things where Disney's trying to include a feature movie character in one to help, like, get things going on the next one. It didn't do that, obviously. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like we go back to Avengers. You think about the moments of scenes of all these great movies where, I mean, hell, Anthony Mackie had one of the best lines in the Marvel Cinematic Universe forever. Cap, I'm on your left. And he turns around and looks epic.
I mean, you hear that in the radio and in-game, everyone cheers.
Literally goosebumps. Literally goosebumps.
He had none of those in this
What movie recently has given you goosebumps?
We're talking about Marvel movies?
Yes. I mean, the Spider-Man verse thing was awesome.
Yeah, but
Had
that's a
great
Sony
moments.
movie, even though it was a collaboration with Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's well documented that the Marvel movies that have come out since Endgame have not performed as they used to.
No.
And I don't know what it was about the special sauce all those movies leading up to Endgame had, but
Because
they
they were
had it.
meaningful.
Yeah,
This
but
movie
it's
was
hard to make.
literally pointless. Gave me one thing towards helping the universe.
Well, it clearly furthered a plot line that we still don't know about. You've got
Which is episode
well,
of a
we'll get to the
TV
end
show
credit,
can happen.
but we've got the Bucky thing. We've got obviously a president that now is out of office, so
He's in jail.
maybe another president's going to take over. That's going to
I like that plot line though. I wish it was more. That's very realistic though. The president that's doing all this bad stuff turns into this evil monster, ends up in jail.
Right.
I like that model. I think that could be very realistic in today's day and age. It's something I think a lot of our audience would like.
But we digress.
I'm just talking about writing for a movie. That's what I feel like could.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we can get to the end credit scene then. So let's set the end credit scene. So basically,
Wait, hold on. Do you have any favorite moments? What was your favorite moment about this movie? Mine was the popcorn. It was really it hit really well. But other than that,
I can't think of the
like give me one line that was like "fuck yeah." I mean, I think the "You're no Steve Rogers" was probably one of the better lines, but that wasn't even a great line.
It's not even that great of a line, and it was in the trailer. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. This really lacked heart. Like, there was not a lot going on.
Really poor character development. There's nothing meaningful was involved.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was an episode.
I really wanted this to be like one of the Avenger movies.
I mean, I'll put it this way: if Anthony Mackie is leading the next era of Avengers,
is he though? Well, yeah. Okay. That does lead to other stuff. So in the movie, the president asks him to restart the Avengers, which clearly we know we have 2 more Avengers movies coming up, so that must actually happen.
Yeah, or
I would assume
a form of that some way, shape,
They did a lot of setup for later stuff in this that I don't know. It feels like they maybe should have not worried about that
You
and
can't
just done
do that in a $200 million budget movie.
Oh.
You complain about shit not being successful, but there was nothing in this movie that made you go, I can't wait for the next Avengers.
Definitely not. And I'll be honest with you, the after credit scene really left a lot to be desired. He goes back in. He goes into prison after the credits. Captain America walks back into prison to talk to this Samuel Stearns, Dr. Samuel Stearns, with this weird bubbly.
The middle of the ocean prison.
Yeah, the raft. They call it the raft.
It's been there before.
Yeah, because it was in Civil War. That's where they put
Bucky.
Bucky, yeah, and they put Bucky, they put Falcon. Yeah, anyway, we've seen it.
Falcon's already been there, which is hilarious. So he's back.
But
That's a nice little callback.
And he gets up, first of all, his Samuel Stern's power is that he's a super genius because of his brain being so big. That's gone
Because
through.
he took the
and pushed his head
serum.
up.
He took the serum, but it,
Well, he got exposed to Bruce Banner's blood during the Abomination thing of the Edward Norton Hulk movie. Again, a deep reach back for a major plot point.
No,
it really is.
95% of people watching that movie that aren't comic heads are going to know what the fuck that is.
I know. I would definitely recommend watching that movie before you see Brave New World.
Hey, go watch that movie from fucking 18 years ago to make sure you know that.
Yeah, it's a real deep cut.
That's a.
Told you were going to lose that bet.
You want to know what's funny?
I'm not in the mood for your jokes. You killed a lot of good men trying to get your revenge. Trust me, we don't share the same sense of humor.
We share the same world, don't we? This world you would die to save. It's coming. I've seen it, probabilities, seen it plain as day. All you heroes protecting this world. Do you think you're the only ones? Do you think this is the only world? We'll see what happens when you have to protect this place. The others.
He walks in to see Stearns. Stearns tells him that, kind of like a Doctor Strange moment where he's like, I've run all the probabilities.
This was probably one of the better parts, I guess.
Is
Not
it?
not because it was the
Because
end,
we
but-
don't have a fucking clue what it's about. He says he's run all the probabilities and that this world is doomed and you guys don't even see it coming in and you don't even know about the others. And then it just ends. Okay, so right away you were like,
X-Men.
X-Men, has to be X-Men.
Gotta be
But they would have called them mutants. And
Not
the others
necessarily.
also, keep in mind what the next Avengers movie is about is the Secret Wars, which on the comics they went to the Beyonders planet, which is an alien god, and fought all these different races. The others could literally be talking about, because he even talks about, you think you're the only planet, you think you're, all that stuff. I think he's setting up the next Avengers movies with different aliens. And honestly, there was some foreshadowing to that because during the conversation with Anthony Edwards and Bucky, he asked Bucky, how many alien invasions did Steve Rogers stop? And Bucky says 2. And he goes, I don't know how I could even get through 1. I mean, it feels like they're really setting up the Secret Wars.
They are.
Um,
Absolutely. Are.
And it just, I don't know. This whole thing with them the whole point of this movie was trying to fight for rights of animatium, which is obviously what Wolverine's skeleton's made of and a key ingredient to X-Men lore. But that's the only mention or nod to X-Men that we have coming. And I'll be honest with you, I want to see a Marvel X-Men movie. I've been wanting to see it since they bought 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
It's been years now, and we're still nowhere near it. They keep going back to the Avengers because they're trying to recapture that money. And maybe if they just did something original, like X-Men.
If
I know
they
it's not original.
restart X-Men like they did with the Avengers and built in how it did. or
That's what I'm
replicate that,
saying.
You could get just X-Men is more popular than the Avengers, by the way. Wolverine
It
is
was
more
to me.
popular. Wolverine aesthetically
yeah.
is probably the most popular Marvel character that has ever.
I think
Above
what-
Iron Man, above all.
I think they're
because of how they
terrified
built it.
to do a Wolverine without Hugh Jackman. I don't blame them. I mean, it's going to be really hard because they have to, because they're going to, when they launch X-Men, it's going to have to be a young Wolverine.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to recast Wolverine. And that is a terrifying for any studio, because I can't imagine who could fill those shoes. I really can't.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, but he's still too old. When they relaunch, it's going to have to be,
Two different ones.
I guess. I don't know. I'm sure this is a debate they've had for years.
You can make it a flashback where they're talking about their prior day, whatever, and then you can pull in those actors. and
Yeah,
do
but then you're
one
right
movie.
back to where we left off, and they want to build an entire universe out of them. And,
Yeah.
I don't blame them for wanting to relaunch it back to zero.
Well, guess what? Chris Evans was fucking nobody when he took over Captain America. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'm not saying
Here's
they're
your
not going to
opportunity.
make. They're going to make the star out of somebody.
yeah.
But if I'm an actor and I'm trying to fill Hugh Jackman's Wolverine shoes, you're already screwed. Like it's gonna take a miracle to get an audience on board with the guy, which sucks because I'm sure that whoever they pick's gonna be great. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I just felt like there was a lot of missed opportunities in Brave New World. I wanted to like it a lot more. But there was a few cheesy lines I just cringed at, and there was no real great lines in it that I
No.
can remember.
There was a couple times I looked over you and I was just like, Are you fucking serious right now? That was so stupid.
I don't
It
know.
was cheesy. It was so cheesy.
It had a lot of cheese on it.
And not funny cheesy.
I know.
It was like sitting there with they're trying to be serious.
Well, it didn't even have the humor that the old Avengers movies
No.
had.
And,
But
like,
a lot of
Anthony-
that's Robert Downey
Like,
Jr.
Anthony Mackie is trying to be the serious guy who's coming to save the world and everybody thinks I'm so serious.
Yeah.
But he's like 5'5" and skinny and his fight scenes weren't that great.
None of that bothers me.
I'm not-
His look doesn't bother me. It's just he doesn't have a presence. He doesn't have the
that's what I'm talking
leading
about.
man
He
presence.
has no, when he walks in the room, you're not like, oh, like when Cap walked in the room, when
Well,
Chris
yeah,
Savage
but
walked
Al
into the room.
Pacino's just as tall as he is, and that man's got leading man presence. Is my point. It's
I'm
an
saying,
it factor.
Anthony Mackie's not the leader of the Avengers.
I know.
He's not.
I'm worried that they're basing this all around him.
They
now.
shouldn't be.
Well, they are. I mean, that's what they've set up in this movie. He's been asked to restart the Avengers. That says to me that he's going to be the leader unless he steps aside and thinks somebody else is better. But who do we have in this universe still? This is obviously pre-snap. Everyone's back. The Avengers have disbanded. Thor's probably back on his planet. Has he died in any other movie? I think Thor's still around.
But he's
Obviously Captain Marvel's
more
still
like
around.
Guardians of the Galaxy world.
Okay, yeah, but they're all out in space.
They're
and
not
Guardians
gonna-
Galaxy. Yes, but for the
they're not
Secret
gonna bring
Wars,
him in.
no, for the
Yeah.
Secret Wars they are.
Well, yeah,
Because that was the entire universe
Yeah.
that came to fight the Beyonder. I don't know, man. Anyway, focusing back on this movie, I guess how many stars did you give this movie?
what are we at? 5?
Well, I think that's out of
Or
4,
10.
right? It's always out of 4.
4.
For movies, it's out of 4, right? I'm pretty sure it is.
There's a Rotten Tomatoes 10 now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because that way you can give it a half, a little easier, I guess.
Okay, all right.
Let's do 10. Let's do 10 stars.
10 stars.
I give it a 4.5.
So
It doesn't
wow,
get to
that's
5.
pretty low.
It doesn't get to
That's
5.
pretty low.
I think it's a top 3 worst Marvel movies ever made.
Really? That's a bold statement.
Why? Because there's just nothing that
Well, I'm trying to think of a worse Marvel movie.
a worst Marvel movie.
That's what I'm trying to think of right now.
Oh God.
I don't even think. Like, here's the thing, though. Brave New World wasn't a bad movie. It just didn't have much pizzazz. It's like there was nothing. There's not a draw. There's not a scene I can tell you that you're gonna love. It's just. I don't know. It just felt boring.
I mean, the Marvels were pretty bad.
Oh, see, I didn't watch that either. Okay, there we go.
See,
There we go.
like, this guy's not even a comic fan.
No,
You're on the
it's-
top. You want to run the top dimension-related podcast out
It's
there. Doesn't even watch any of the
It's not
dimension-related
the
stuff.
okay. After Endgame, I watched anything Guardians. I'm totally good with what they did, the Christmas special and the third Guardians movie. I watched those. I liked both of those, honestly. What other Marvel movies have come out since then?
Oh, New Mutants was
See, well,
that was rough.
I watched New Mutants. Yeah, it wasn't great. I wouldn't say that was bad either. It just didn't grab me.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for me. I don't know what I'm saying. I guess I wouldn't go as low as 4.5. I would probably do it
Like,
6.
Google has it
But-
as Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania is the worst related ever Marvel. I like that movie. So
I enjoyed that movie because I think the cast is stellar. Their dialogue is great. I would say I like that movie a lot more than I liked this one.
yeah, correct. I think all that, man.
But I agree that movie was kind of pointless.
It was,
Ant-Man movie.
but it was still better than this one. And this movie's
Yeah.
supposed to be meaningful, and it wasn't.
This movie is clearly supposed to be meaningful. Think of this like the first Iron Man movie with the way they're trying to set this up to relaunch. First Iron Man movie was perfect. It was awesome. And it got you excited for what was coming. Oh, you don't really feel excitement after this movie.
I mean, oh God, even the Marvels had a couple even good scenes. I think this movie was worse than the Marvels. You just spilled all over my fucking table.
It's just water.
Put it in the plant.
It's a small bit of water.
No, don't clean it now. It's fine. It's not good. We're trying to film a nice, lovely, highly rated
Highly rated.
podcast.
I'm not sure you're in touch with what we're doing here.
There's going to be at least between 42 to 47 people that watch this around the world.
Is there really?
They're all going to agree with us that this is a top 3 worst Marvel movie ever made.
I wouldn't say it's in the good
Top
ones.
5 worst?
I mean,
top
yeah,
3?
probably. And that's only, I really don't want to say that's only because there's been so many great Marvel movies. So yeah, unfortunately it fell short. It fell short of what I thought it could do. It had a lot of great elements in it and it just didn't perform.
Did you see Morbius?
Yes.
You thought that which was
I didn't particularly think that was a good movie. However, I didn't dislike it the way everyone else did.
What about Madam Web?
I did watch Madam Web, and that was not great, but that is not a Marvel movie. That is a solid Sony Pictures movie. So I didn't expect... You know what it is? It's like Pixar and Marvel have a bar that they have set themselves because of good quality films that they've put out. And when it doesn't measure up to their own standard, yeah, it falls short for me.
Whose fault's that, though? Fucking Marvel.
It's theirs fault. Yeah. I mean, they clearly have the option to hire the right writers and do all that. They put all money into it.
I think it comes down to one thing is that they need to realize that they have made us desensitized to quality stuff because of the quantity they keep putting out. They think quantity equates to success and money for them. When I said, dude, put out 1 or 2 Marvel movies a year total and make them bangers. And have
one a year. I don't even need to.
I would say 1 movie a year and 2 TV series that are tying into that, and you're good.
We're getting 3 this year. Now,
yeah, but
I'm very hopeful for Fantastic Four. I feel like they finally nailed it. This is going to be the one.
I think it's going to be the best movie since.
I think Thunderbolts is going to directly tie into events from this. It has to.
I hope so.
It has to. I mean, you can't have Bucky as a main character and not mention a Congress run. And they're going to have to mention what's going on with President Ross.
Does that happen in the comics?
I don't know. It's a good question. Post below if you guys know if Bucky runs for Congress in the comic books. Because clearly he's running for it in the movie universe.
I forgot anybody's running for office these days.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyway, summing it up, I would say 6 out of 10. You say 4.5 out of 10. Because it wasn't a bad movie. It just didn't have a lot going on.
What was good about it? What did you like about the movie?
I mean, it was a superhero movie with familiar characters that I like.
What familiar characters?
All of them. Well, most of them are familiar. I mean, we know what General Ross has been in every Hulk movie. We know Red Hulk was from the comics.
Yeah. Which is one of the biggest characters ever in comics. And they just, in my opinion, made it like super lackluster. That's the frustrating.
He doesn't have a lot to say.
Fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And he fought one guy.
Well, they destroyed the White House.
Well, we're doing that now. So.
Wow.
That's like 4 callbacks on this.
You can't stop yourself there. All right, but we digress.
No.
Anyway, I'm going to stick with 6 because I haven't seen Eternals or Marvel, so what do I know? I guess I need to watch those movies.
You watch a million things. Can we at least watch those and then get back to us and see?
I feel like I started them. I was like, oh, and then I was out.
Like this movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
I will let you guys know. We got back from, we went to the theater. It was a cold, rainy day, so perfect spot to go see a movie. Now, mind you, it's only been out for 4 days.
Yeah.
And us two and one other couple were the entire ones.
That's true. It did have $100 million opening weekend, though.
Yeah, which isn't bad for them.
But I feel like the fall-off rate for this coming weekend is going to be pretty dry.
Yeah, they're going to make like $10 million this week.
I expect they'll probably make 40 to 50 million or less. But I think it's just going to get less and less. I think it will end up grossing one of the lowest Marvel grossing movies.
I think Ant-Man lost was what, 200 million gross around the world, which is really bad.
Was it?
Yeah, and I think this has to be
I don't know what this will end up at, but there's not a lot of... Most of the good Marvel movies I saw multiple times in theaters.
No way I'm seeing this movie ever again.
No, there's no reason to. I've seen it. I'm good. That's kind of how I feel.
What's the last Marvel movie, in the time frame and the actual, time which they came out that you would watch again?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Anything from... I'll watch any Guardians movie right now and any of the...
what's the last one that came out that you would rewatch?
Hell, I just watched Endgame again and Civil War.
Yeah, but that's fucking 20 years ago. I'm talking in the time frame of what's coming. If we're going back...
You mean since Endgame?
Since the day prior... What have you watched?
Back to Endgame.
In theory, yeah. Because Endgame you'll watch 100 times. It's fine.
Just the Guardians.
What? Guardians 2?
Well, it's Guardians 3 and Guardians Christmas Special, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, with the Star Wars.
But honestly, those are about the only 2 that I really, really, really enjoyed. I've also enjoyed the TV series. I enjoyed The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, I thought it was great.
That's what him and I were talking on the way to the theaters, that we were so excited because, in my opinion, I think that's, if not the best, maybe second best of the TV series.
It's solid, yeah.
Really good.
Really good.
And there's none of that chemistry or vibe in this movie at all. No. They lost all that energy. Also, when was that even put out? 2021?
Yeah, it was 2020. It was right after COVID.
It was during COVID. I remember being at home from a show watching it.
4 years ago.
You can't wait that long and expect people to still be interested in that.
Well, I mean, that's the least of the problems. They were using plot points from at least 15 years ago Hulk movies. I don't know. That felt like a real reach, especially for you not knowing that as a viewer going into it. Because I remember that movie because we hadn't had any really great Marvel movies when that came out. And it was like, okay, I do remember that movie, but only because I love Tim Roth. He was such a great Abomination. He's a great actor. But that is a deep cut. I mean, it is an old Marvel movie. Really old.
Unless we're missing something in one of these movies we don't watch. But
could be. There could have been an update and something I missed.
Also, like,
I haven't missed that many besides Marvels and
if we're doing, like, you know, a cut on this villain, shouldn't we know who the fuck a villain is in a movie that you're watching?
Yeah, because, you know,
we're not introducing him.
You know, that was the,
You know?
I want to say that was almost the end credit scene when he morphed and got his brain on the outside Stearns. Like, he was a normal looking dude all the way through that movie until either right at the end or the after credit scene. And then we're doing a callback where he's the main villain in this, and we're just supposed to know that backstory. Yeah. I don't know. It felt like they did a lot of assuming for the plot line for this. I don't know. Maybe they cut it out in editing. Maybe they filmed like.
Why? Because the movie was already too long. It was fucking 37 minutes long of actual movie. Well, I'm telling you, that could have been a Disney Plus movie all day. Well, we could have sat here on this fucking sofa and laid down and watched that movie, and I would have been like, I would like it a little bit more, but not much more.
I would say wait for video. That's how I would recommend it.
Yeah, VHS probably. Quality.
Wait for Betamax for it to come out on Betamax. Okay, so hopefully you found this review helpful. It was a super negative one. That's who we are. I think you guys have picked up on that by now. We want to be positive, but we're positive that it wasn't great.
Moral of the story, Disney, y'all need to step it up if you want us really bad, because you're losing us big bad.
Well, also, Disney truly appreciates our opinion. So,
if you're watching, we are
not
open for sponsorships and endorsements.
We would like to tell you what a terrible product you have, but we'd also like you to pay us to tell you what a great product you have.
Pay us, yeah.
All right, anyway.
This review may or may not be endorsed by the Disney.
It's not. And we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time.
Join the convo. Boom.